Quarterbacks suddenly have the power to leave a team. That also means they have the power to come to a team. Russell Wilson wants Dak's chair. Well, isn't that fascinating? And so I sit here and I think this to myself. If you're Jerry Jones, you have so messed up this negotiation. You have backed yourself into a corner. You literally have zero leverage in this thing with Dak. But then a miracle falls into your lap. If you could trade, if they could trade for Russell Wilson, whether it was involving Dak or even letting him walk, Russell Wilson for the next 3 years cost you $70 million. That's 2 years of Dak on the franchise tag last year and this. You could pull the ultimate Houdini act and actually turn this terrible situation into Russell Wilson. It would be the great win you could ever possibly imagine. Dan Orlovsky, it's out there. Michael Irvin is fanning the flames. What do you think?
I love it. First of all, the Cowboys would finally have the player that matches the star. You know, the bright lights of Dallas. Listen, if anybody thinks that the Cowboys aren't or shouldn't be thinking about this, respectfully, you're out of your mind. You know, this is a better player that is going to be cheaper for them. Yeah, it's going to cost you a lot, but if the Cowboys really, really, really wanted Dak Prescott, he would already be under contract. And I think that there's a lot of reality to this. And the last thing I would say is this. How? Someone needs to tell me how the Dallas Cowboys are going to pay Dak Prescott more money this year than he wanted last year with less money to work with. So this gives the Cowboys like the get out of jail free card. This gives them the opportunity to get the superstar at quarterback that Jerry Jones has wanted since Troy Aikman, so to speak. There's a reality to this, Greeny. I absolutely believe it.
I mean, it would just make all the sense in the world. Mike T, I mean, work us through this here. You're Jerry Jones. Again, you've negotiated yourself directly into a corner. But if you could somehow emerge with a player who is, I think, inarguably better and definitively cheaper, it would be extraordinary. Can he do it?
Absolutely he can. He could call up Seattle and say, hey, we'll give you 3 #1 picks. Look at our roster. We'll put in another good young player, whoever that may be. And absolutely they should do this. And this is, there's also a great intangible going on here, which is the old Coach Parcells line, hey, Dak, if you're looking, we're looking, so everyone's looking. And it does create a little bit of a sense of urgency now for Dak Prescott. Like, well, wait a second. If I'm going to get paid, maybe I'm not going to get paid here. And I got to really think about moving to a new city. So absolutely they should do this, Greeny. And from a negotiation standpoint, it does pivot leverage a little bit that, like, well, wait a second, Dak. You have options, we have options, so we all do. Now let's sit down and see what we can hammer out, because if not, I'm going to trade whatever it takes to go get Russell Wilson.
That's a really interesting and important point, Kimberly. You were talking about it this morning, that at minimum, this does create some leverage where there appeared to be none.
Yeah, I mean, whether a trade gets worked out between Seattle and the Cowboys remains to be seen. But at the minimum, Jerry Jones can at least use Russell as a chip in his negotiations with Dak. I mean, both sides have said they want to be together, that they're committed long term. But if you're Jerry Jones, you can say, hey, there are other options. We, you know, like, bring us to the, like, let's get to the table and let's come to an agreement that makes sense for both sides, not just what you want, Dak. Because, as you see, somebody like Russell Wilson, he could be made available. However, the big could. Is Seattle going to trade Russell Wilson? People around the league are skeptical, but crazier things have happened, Greeny.
Crazier things seem to be happening daily in the National Football League right now. That's the point. A year ago, we wouldn't have even bothered having this conversation, but we just read the quote directly, Danny, from Michael Irvin. Quarterbacks are driving all of this. They're making it happen. And if Russell Wilson wants it to happen, then it can happen.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Greeny, I'd say this. If I'm Dak Prescott, I want to know, I want my reps, I want my agents figuring out if Dallas has made any kind of call to Seattle. If they have, I'm done. I'm not signing a long-term contract with you. There's only so many times that you could technically disrespect me or technically flirt.
That is such a shame that we lost Dan. Leave him up there. I love the frozen photo, though. Let's put a clock underneath it, and we'll time it. It's a tradition unlike any other here on Get Up. You got to have some fun with this because it's such a shame. But Mike Tannenbaum, pick up the thought there because the Cowboys do find themselves in a situation. And Dak, frankly, it might be the best thing that can happen to him. He would become an unrestricted free agent in this scenario. Someone will pay him a fortune of money. So purely financially, he doesn't lose in this. There is no scenario in which he loses.
That's exactly right. And he's earned the right because he's played out the franchise tag. And I totally disagree with Dan from this perspective, which is Jerry Jones has a responsibility to explore options. It's not about respect. It's about running your franchise in the appropriate way. Just like Todd France has done a good job for Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott is on the precipice of getting paid a huge amount of money by Dallas or another team. So as you said, Greeny, this could really be a win-win if Dallas and Seattle could come up with something that works for both sides. And as you've mentioned, they would save a massive amount of money short term, which is necessary with the cap going down and all the other needs they have. So look, in a negotiation, feathers get ruffled. That's just part of it. And Dak shouldn't be disappointed or disrespected. He should understand that Dallas is doing what's in their best interest.
Try it again, Dan. Go ahead.
And my response would be, I'm in your best interest if I'm Dak Prescott. That would be my response. Everybody has sat on here and told me I hate Dak Prescott because he played for the Cowboys on the cheap. And he outperformed where he was drafted in his contract. That's 100% valid. So at the end of the day, we got 8 days left till you have to make a decision as an organization of what your potential plans for me are in the future. If I find out that you are calling another team and trying to see how realistic it is to acquire that quarterback, and you're going to use me as a chip to go get him, there is a 0% chance that I'm ever going to play for you again. There's a 0% chance that I want to sign a long-term deal with you because you're telling me everything I need to know. That although I'm right in front of you, you're always going to be flirting with somebody else. And at the end of the day, the money is great. But self-respect and you showing me that you're in this together with me and you want to be matters just as much, if not more.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.